Good morning, everyone. Well, we've got the Spider loaded up here and we're ready to hit the road. We'll be leaving Tallahassee eastbound on Highway 27. We're going to end up in Okala hopefully this evening. We'll see what we can find along the way. Let's get started.
Good morning. We're off to Okala. We're just packing up the bike now. It's a sunny day, so it's going to be great.
As we leave Tallahassee, we'll be riding US 27 the entire day. You'll note that I give other highway designators in the video. That's because the roads run together with different signage. Like many highways in Florida, US 27 runs across the state from north to south. US 27 goes from Tallahassee all the way to the Miami area through Central Florida. Here we are riding through Lamont, Florida. This tiny town is about the only thing going on between Tallahassee and Perry, except for farmland and woods. If you watched the earlier videos in this series, you'll remember on the way out, we stayed in Perry. Today we'll be taking a different route to the southeast. In 1954, the Fenholloway River was on the receiving end of waste byproduct from a pulp mill operation. In 2013, Georgia Pacific purchased the mill and invested $300 million to upgrade it. As of 2020, the project was completed and effluent is no longer discharged into the river. Bravo, Georgia Pacific. As we move further inland, we ride away from the woodlands and into farmland. Despite the increase of developed properties, this is still a beautiful area. And it gets even better as we approach Okala later in the afternoon. Mayo, Florida is a charming small town. Mayo is the only municipality in Lafayette County and serves as the county seat. As of the 2020 census, only about 1,000 people call it home. This gives one a clear idea of how rural this area is. I just love the downtown square and the courthouse. It's absolutely neat here, and it reminds me of the towns that I spent most of my adult life in. Isn't this just cool? As you can see, we are back on a 2-lane highway with very light traffic. What a relaxing ride it is through the countryside. As we cross the river, we enter the small town of Branford. For much of its history, Branford has had a population of only about 700. Of note, the Branford Springs is a popular diving location. The Itchitucknee River is spring-fed and is crystal clear. Access to the river can be made through the state park. This would be a great area to come back to and investigate. In 1830, a military outpost was built in current-day Columbia County, Florida. The Fort White name stuck and is home to a population of a staggering 600 residents. Like many of the small towns that we've gone through, there were some beautiful old homes here that are still inhabited. I'm so thankful that they've saved these homes. The Santa Fe River is unique in that at Olino State Park, the river drops into a sinkhole and reappears at the River Rice Preserve State Park 5 miles downstream. The land above the underground river was once a part of the Spanish Mission Trail. In High Springs, we stopped for lunch. It was a nice little stop because it's starting to get hot. But eventually we take off and we'll head south on US 41 through town. High Springs was settled in about the 1830s. It wasn't until about the 1880s, though, when the Florida and Western Railway arrived that it gained in popularity. Phosphate mines were also opened. Heading south on US 41 allows us to stay west of Gainesville in the I-75 corridor. This is a much slower paced area and is worth riding. Central Florida seems to be the home of live oaks. Many places you travel will have these trees lining the road. With the overhanging branches, it isn't hard to imagine a more wild Florida. Archer, Florida is yet another small town on our route. The town is named after James T. Archer, the first Florida Secretary of State. Williston was a cool town. Every October, they host the Central Florida Harvest and Peanut Festival. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. For us, Williston marks the spot where we turn and head towards Okala. The highway between Williston and Okala is lined with horse farms. The green rolling hills are framed by wooden fences as far as the eye can see. There's no doubt that this is a more affluent area. One can even see the horse farms from the interstate. A lovely area indeed. After arriving at Okala, we decide to push further south, but boy is it getting hot. Once south of Okala, we stop to take a break and cool down. Riding by this drive-through takes me back to when we lived in Angola, and we would take our kids up to Coldwater, Michigan to the drive-through there. Boy, we have fond memories, and the kids had a lot of fun there sitting in the back of the pickup truck watching a movie. Well, here's Sherry.
Well, we had a fun day riding. We ended up in Leesburg, Florida, and it was hot today. When Mike was stopped in traffic, he said the bike read that there was 100 degrees. So we stopped a few times for some breaks, but it wasn't too bad as long as we kept moving.
Hey, we made it to the hotel, but my goodness gracious, was it a hot one this afternoon. The temperature gauge on the Spider here showed 100 degrees right before we got to the hotel. So we're ready to kick back and take a shower and cool off just a little bit, but that's kind of how it is here in South Florida. I think the actual temperature was about 90 or 91, and with the heat of the engine, yeah, it cooks you right away. So we've got one more day on the road here, and we'll probably get started early tomorrow morning. We'll see you then. Take care.